Yeah.
And all I need to do is to
introduce Jan Chang instead of Mikael. And his topic will be
It's a PDF.
But it's okay.
It's okay.
You can change it.
So this is a pointer, right?
This is pointer.
Yeah. Can I use this pointer?
Yeah. Actually, let's change it.
Because it's more easier for you to in a slideshow. Use this microphone and this one. And if you don't have,
This is not working.
oh, it's not working. But this point is working, right?
Pointer is not working, but you can change sliders when you.
But is that any function like this?
This don't know.
It's not working.
This is not working.
Okay. It's okay. Or I can use myself. It's okay.
Yeah. Okay.
It's alright. You can just put in there. It's okay. It's okay.
I don't know.
It doesn't matter.
So welcome back. The second panel is approximately 2 hours, a little bit shorter because we start a little bit later. We had some program change in this panel. So instead of Mikael, Mattlin, Hukatil, the panel moderator will be Ms. Maija Härkönen, PhD from Lahti's School of Applied Sciences. And I will give floor right away to her, and she will guide this panel until to the bright end. Please, Maija.
Can use that.
Yes, you can.
Hello, my name is Maija Härkönen, Lahti University of Applied Sciences. It is great to be here. I welcome you back from lunch, and we are going to have a very good, quick tempo in the afternoon, so you would not be tempted to fall asleep or days off. This is probably the most exciting part of this day, because we will be hearing from small and medium-sized companies about their struggles and success stories and their views of China. We will also hear from the more established companies who have already worked in China for many years through video that will be shown here later on this afternoon. I will not take your time by talking too much here. I would like to go ahead and introduce our replacement speaker, who is Xiaoting Zhang, a young fellow who is going to start his studies at Harvard University. We are very proud of him. He has been associated with a bench program for a very, very long time. And he is going to tell us about SMEs and how they enter the Chinese markets. His presentation title, in fact, is SME Enter China, Regional Differences of the Chinese Markets. So I expect that we'll be hearing much about how the western parts of China are developing and how new markets are opening up there for all Nordic and other companies around the world. Please, let's welcome Mr. Zhang, Xiaoting Zhang, and after that we will have, actually we can introduce the panel discussions right away and have them come here. And the panel consists of Indrek Kuldkepp. Please, is Indrek here? Come and take your seat. He represents the company RPM Loghomes. We also have Anna Sandström, who is representing Calluna company from Sweden. Yes, please. And Dan Liu, he is representing a Volvo Car Corporation. And please, Dan Liu, take your place at the table. And finally, we have Pekka Vahtila from Finland, representing Gelecta Oy. Please. One is missing. Oh, Anna is coming. Very good.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. My Chinese name is Xiaoting Zhang. I'm very glad Dr. Maija just told my Finnish name. I'm from the University of Tartu, Estonia, and the University of Oulu, Finland. And today I'm very glad to have this opportunity to talk about the SMEs enter China, the regional differences of Chinese market. So as I'm still in the lunch coma, so I would speak Chinglish rather than English. In case of any questions, please feel free to stop me. And you also could download the slides later on. Yeah, and as we all know that copyright in China means right to copy. Briefly introduction about myself, that I'm doing research in internationalization and also doing some business practice in the Baltic and the Nordic region. So this is a very nice picture of China, very modernized, in the Shanghai, the central business district. And here even more impressive photos with these transfer roads and 6, 7 floors, and a very nice area, Pudong, that our delegation also visited. So this is China. And this is also China, where you could see those people in the west part of the country lives under €1 per day. And there are approximately 200 million of them. This is a village in China. It's called Huaxi village. it is amazing story how this village has been developed. As you can see the figure that every family has a household between 400, 600 square meters. They own a car and a health care and free education and almost like in Sweden, right? So each villager has a minimum half to €1 million in the bank. And this skyscraper, which is in the picture, is costed 2.5 billion Chinese yuan, which is 382 meters high, and the head of the village say this is not a big deal. So why it is not a big deal? Because now they are building a new village in sky. So in this village of Huaxi, many families start to purchase in the private helicopters, and the village is purchasing 20 aircrafts to open its own airlines. And now they are building the world's 15th tallest skyscrapers in China. So this is a village. And this is also a village in the west part of China, where in this picture, Xiaohong and Xiaoli, these two girls, has to collect the plastics, and so they could exchange the money to pay the tuition fee. And every day they have to walk more than half an hour in such a dangerous road to reach their school. So as we can see from those pictures that it is very difficult to give a conclusion or description about China, because it's a very diverse country. As you can see, there are 23 provinces, 5 these minority group regions, and 4 municipalities, and 2 special administrative zones, Hong Kong and Macau. And from this one, the figure, we could see that most of the people, population actually located in the east and the south part of China. This, of course, connected with the geographic characteristics and the water distribution. So, as China is quite a big country in terms of size and its population, so it's easier if we divide them into several pieces to compare the regional differences inside of this country. So we divide them into northeast China, North China, east, south, central, southwest, and northwest. And this is according to the study by the Cui and Liu in 2000. So, first, here is a survey done by McKinsey and a company in China and regarding the consumer behavior and in different parts of China. So first is psychographics of the local consumers. We can see the first satisfaction with life. South and East Chinese people has the highest point, and then work hard and get rich. Northwest has highest, and then live someone's own life, also South and East. Then favor foreign brands, South and East. Second is the lifestyle of the local consumers. And no surprising, often eating in a restaurant, dancing and music, traveling in China, traveling abroad. South and East are dominating here. But very interesting, we can see dancing and music, actually Northwest has highest points. Maybe that is, they need to, okay, I have no comments on that, but at least they are happy from the data. Table 3 is the internationalization degree of the local consumer. So first, speak at least 1 foreign languages, been to foreign countries, often purchasing foreign products, and owning the foreign luxury products, and South and East. So from this survey, we could generally give a description of the regional development. We could say that East and South China are more developed market, and Central China and North China are more fast growth market, and then Southwest and Northeast are the developing market. And of course, it's hard to comment on Northwest. However, these are not really, this is just a general description of the regional economic development. Of course, when in terms of enter Chinese market, we have to take into account the characteristics of the sectors and other factors. So if we compare, if we go a bit more details to this region, first let's fly to South China with Finnair. South China, including Guangdong, Fujian, and the Hainan province. You could see this circle is South China, the red circle. I connected a bit with Taiwan, but I have no comments on that. So this region was one of the earliest regions which start to enjoy the opening up and reform policy, and they have 4 large special economic zones, and also one of the earliest region attract FDIs. So they are most outward oriented, and currently they're transforming themselves from the labor-intensive manufacturing center to the knowledge-based economy, which is in the format of high-tech manufacturing. And Guangdong, the province, has become more integrated with the economy of Hong Kong, while Fujian has a lot of investors and business people from Taiwan. And this region represents the culture of Mingyue. And this culture actually has plenty of contacts outside of China. If we look at the Chinatown, if you visit Chinatown in New York or in LA or in London, if you talk with the local Chinese people, most of them from this Fujian and Guangdong from this region, and they are one of the earliest generation of immigrants, Chinese immigrants. And then we move to East China, and this is from the picture we could see the circle here. So East China, including the actually is the currently most developed, economically developed region, including municipality Shanghai, Jiangsu province, and Zhejiang province. And this area is China's industrial powerhouse and boasting more than 35% of the country's industrial output. And also, they have a large number of very competitive middle-sized township city. When I say middle-sized, it means 8 million or 9 million people in the city. So it's a bit different. So, as we all know, Shanghai as an Asian financial and becoming the world financial and trading center is also a gateway to 300 million Chinese consumers in the east part of China. And the people and consumers in this region, they are most innovative, and they have a strong desire towards the fashion and the new lifestyle. Therefore, they're representing the high-pay culture, and it is well known for having the best quality of the life, and which is example of the Chinese, these 3 decades development. Then we move to North China, our capital, Beijing, Tianjin, and the province of Hebei and Shandong. And this region also growing very fast in the past few decades and attract FDIs from the many countries. Because from the geographic location, we could see they're very close to the capital, Beijing. So they have easier access to the key governmental agencies. And this region is making a large amount of investment in industries such as telecommunications, the computer technology, ICT, and pharmaceuticals. And Shandong is the biggest agriculture province. And they also have a few best township cities. And the consumers in this region are relatively conservative, but still open to the new product ideas, especially in the capital, Beijing. The consumer behavior is very similar with consumers in Shanghai. They are more brand-driven rather than the price-driven. So this region represents Jingpai culture. It has a greater value to the Confucian. And then Central China. Central China, including the province called Henan, Hubei, Hunan, Jiangxi, and Anhui, is the headland of Chinese agriculture industry, as we can see from here. And due to the disadvantages in terms of geographic location characteristics, this region is less developed compared with the coast city. However, they are catching up very fast. And the consumers in this region actually very tightly follow the trend of the consumers in Shanghai or the coast cities. So if we do some product tasting, we first sell or enter the Shanghai market. It is accepted, a new concept can be accepted in Shanghai, meaning that within 3 months to half year, it might be getting popular in those regions. And then southwest, including Yunnan, Guizhou, Guangxi, and the most populated province, Sichuan. This province has 110 million people, almost like Russia. They're also very interested for the foreign companies. And they have a huge population. And the key city in this region, actually from this map we can see here, this circle, is the Chongqing municipality. And leading by the Chongqing municipality, this region represents the casual style lifestyle and this slow speed lifestyle, which of course are deeply related with the very developed tourism industry and known as the Shangri-La, the Shangri-La. So northeast, including Heilongjiang, Jilin, Liaoning, which is on the right up circle. They are deeply connected with the economy of Japan and Korea, and Dalian is a very important port city. And then the northwest, which is Xinjiang, Tibet, Qinghai, and Gansu, and internal Mongolia, those are the least developed region in China. Therefore, the Chinese government, I think a decade ago, has designed this Fuping campaign, meaning that the developed province in the east and south part will help one less developed province in the west, which try to make a balance, and somehow it works. So let's look at from another angle in terms of regional differences. The data from the HSBC and IMF and other source. This is a GDP distribution or comparative study of GDP differences between the provinces. And from this figure, we could say this is China GDP in 2000 by province. We could say it's a union of poor third world countries. We can see the Shanghai's GDP only equal with Czech Republic, and Jiangsu only equal with Portugal, and Zhejiang with Pakistan, and Guangdong in the south with Greece. They have equal with Greece. Quite an ugly picture. Fortunately, after 9 years, by the hardworking people, and the picture is getting a bit better, and our favorite color red is getting more and more dark, and which is good that we can see the Shanghai's GDP is equal with Ireland, and Jiangsu province equal with Indonesia, and Zhejiang with Venezuela, and Shandong equal with Switzerland. So this is 2009. We could call a union of leading developing countries, However, very interesting, after 1 year, 2010, there's something changed also. And we can see here, actually this data from the Economist magazine, and we can see the Shanghai's GDP equals Finland, Jiangsu with Switzerland, Shandong also with Switzerland, and Zhejiang with Austria, and Guangdong in south, like an elephant, this province map like the GDP equals Indonesia. So some people are wondering that we're talking always about when China will pass US as the world's largest economy. We have someone mentioned 2020 or 2026 or 2030. I don't know, but there is a forecast of this picture of China GDP in 2020 by province. As we can see that, very interesting. Jiangsu's GDP is equals Canada, Shanghai, Sweden plus Finland, Zhejiang, Australia, Fujian, Norway, Guangdong with Spain, and many other regions. So from this kind of forecast, actually we can already give us a general idea of how the economic development phase, the differences among all those provinces. So if we apply the Eurovision's methods that we give the points, that I could say that 10 points goes to Jiangsu, Zhejiang, Guangdong, and Shanghai, and 9 points goes to Beijing and Fujian, and 8 goes to Shandong, Chongqing, and Tianjin, and then the 7 points. Then good night to Tallinn. But I have to explain that this only briefly or in generally describe the development phase and the differences among different provinces. As in different sectors, it will be a very different picture, however. But this will give a general taste how this China really looks like and inside of it. And I was operating this small company, which is called Ratusa International Trade, which is a representing company of our Chinese company in Shanghai here, registered in Tartu, and we try to help the Baltic companies enter Chinese market, and we offer the consulting service. So during previous 3 years consulting practice, we from these 55 company cases that we consulted, we realized that there are a few main barriers in terms of the Baltic SMEs enter the Chinese market. So here I use example of Estonia. The first barrier which I mentioned, which is part of the cultural barrier, is the language barrier. So most of SMEs here, the entrepreneur doesn't speak Chinese. And so solution for that, which we suggest is very important, to combine both Estonian and Chinese human resources together. And this can overcome this barrier. However, this it does not mean offer the package service from the agency. It is rather recommended to have a more stable person to follow the full process of the entry, as this entry process is gradually and with different unexpected difficulties. And also, it is recommended to build up the early communication via professional Chinese associations and agencies. As previous speakers has mentioned, that EU now have quite a number of the representation and organizations in China, such as EU SME Center in Beijing, which could assist the European SMEs to build up the initial contacts. And this will lower your risk of jumping into the crowd and lost the way. Second problem, as most of us is talking about, is where is Estonia? We have the company enter the Chinese market. It is not a problem with the product, no problem with design, no problem with price, but they are very wondering and curious that where is Estonia? So we can see many entrepreneurs actually made a kind of mistake, if we can call that. The first they jump to Estonia very hurry to sell their product, sell their service. They forgot that from the Chinese logic, Chinese people has to understand from a more general level to a more specific level, meaning that they have to understand the country, the region environment, then company, then product. And among this, it's a trust building process. How they trust this company as also start from the beginning, how you trust this country. As Sweden and Finland currently has a very high and positive reputation in China in terms of the in a business circle. So the problem where is Estonian? First, we suggest the local entrepreneurs first sell Estonian first, meaning introduce Estonian first. Then business comes secondary. Okay, we have to let the Chinese partner understand the regional advantage in Estonian and the results and all these concepts. And then using famous references and to learn to title yourself. This is very important, right? If Estonia is not well recognized as Skype, it is. And it's just as Finland previously recognized in China by the Nokia, and Sweden recognized by Ericsson and Volvo and IKEA and many other firms. And learn to title yourself. I heard one very beautiful title for Estonian, which is called Hong Kong of European Union. Very nice. Small, competitive, knowledge-based, and free. This is very good. And go together with countries within the regional union, which is exactly what the bench is doing now. I think this will give Estonian company more trust, initial trust, more competitiveness, and more network, and quick access to the local know-how. And then come and see. Very important that if we know some part about the Chinese business culture, this is a very long process of relationship establishment. So you visit China, you introduce your company and product. It is very important to invite them come and see. And this will really very much help to build up the trust and to confirm the cooperation. And the third one is disadvantages in the economy and market size. And so the solution is that when we have a lot of entrepreneurs say, Tiana, it's very difficult for us to enter China because it's big. We don't know from where we start, and we don't know how to start. So my suggestion is that instead of enter whole China, you could choose one province or one city to start if you're SME. This is a research map done by Bent, and you can see this is a map of Jiangsu province. And if whole China is too big, we can start with Jiangsu province. It was a GDP of 615 billion US dollars with population 77 million. If Jiangsu province is still too big, we can go to the capital city Nanjing, which only has 9 million people and 135 billion US dollars GDP. Well, Nanjing is too big, then let's move to township city, which is like Kunshan, near Shanghai. It only has 1.5 million people. But this town is very developed in terms of GDP per capita. Is very high. It's over 45,000 US dollars. And sometimes enter a small city or not a very well-known city actually has much better chance to win compared to enter Shanghai, because everybody jumped to Shanghai, everybody jumped to Hong Kong, everybody jumped to Beijing. But sometimes if you jump to the smaller city, actually you have this unique advantage of being a foreign brand, a European brand, and has much more better resources and connections. And then also, we have to choose advanced field to enter China or attract Chinese ODIs. This is very important. Among the 55 firms that we consulted, there is also the firms produce the furniture and produce the clothes, and this is rather difficult to enter. So that is the thing. And the last one is a correct understanding of Chinese business culture. It's developing and changing due to the fast economic growth. So we have to change according to the changes in order to succeed at the market entry. So that's just a brief description and information about the general regional differences in Chinese market and a bit my personal experience, and I hope it will be helpful. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you. Well, next we have short presentations, and the first one is Indrek Kuldkepp from RPM Loghomes.
Good day to everybody. My name is Indrek Kuldkepp. I was working in RPM Group for more than 14 years. I just quit in February, actually. Then my replacement wasn't able to do this presentation, so I just came in. So first, very briefly about our company, what we do. Our company was established still in Soviet era in 1990, when we were neighbors with China. Now there is one country in between us, so not exactly neighbors. We've delivered over 2,000 timber buildings, from very small ones to quite big ones. Our main markets are Norway, United Kingdom, France, Germany, Japan. Actually Sweden as well. And we both deliver and we erect our buildings worldwide. So we have been building up our homes also in Japan and not in China yet. And we sent first log homes to China in 2011. We focus on the custom-made log homes, so we don't have like standard buildings. Each home is unique. And yeah, we've done horse stables like 10 square meters up to the hotels, 1,000 square meters. And how did we start? First, where we had this idea. From year 97, we have been exporting to Japan. Due to economic changes in Japanese building market, this market went heavily down in 2009. And we started to seek new opportunities, first in Japan, then we realized that it's a market issue, not our product or our dealer's issue. We had some sales in South Korea, and then we decided that let's try China. First, we prepared some marketing materials like Chinese section on our website and a little flyer. And we had quite a number of obstacles with it because Estonian translation bureaus, they just didn't have their own Chinese translators at this time, in the end of 2009. So this text of the flyer, which was only half a page, it took 2 weeks to translate it, and it came to us with a remark that, sorry, no proofreading done. So when I first went to China with these flyers, I was really scared that maybe the title says that free Tibet, you buggers, or something, so might bring me into trouble. I had no idea what was written on that. Yep, and then together with Enterprise Estonia, we had a trip to China. We visited Guangzhou and Shanghai. That was a first introductory visit. We visited a wood house fair in Guangzhou. We had a pretty good picture what they do with the wood houses, what is the situation with the wood house business in China. That made us really glad because we saw that there are not much wood house business in China. That they like wooden houses, but they don't have much of their own producers. First contacts from 2010 were not successful. We realized that these contacts were expecting that we do all the work for them, we provide the sample houses and so on, and if it goes, then they come with us. That wasn't acceptable. But then we got lucky. We met one gentleman, Wu Bin, had not so long negotiations, and then we concluded a contract, and he bought the first sample house for himself, and he has 13 years of knowledge of timber business, sawn timber from Finland and Sweden to China. And yeah, I might say we got lucky because he's very intelligent, very full of knowledge about the market and business in China. So thanks to him, we got it started. Where we are today, well, it's not exactly a success story, but we have shipped first 5 custom-made log homes, and a few are in pipeline. And Mr. Bin has promised that this year we should do at least 10 homes for him. And as you can see from the picture, Estonian log homes fit in the Chinese landscape pretty well. And these 3 small guys, they are Chinese builders who did a pretty good job actually for a first log house. And yeah, just 3 of them built it in a couple of weeks, so that's pretty good. And then there is one extraordinary handsome European guy also standing. What we learned first, China is actually not so far. It was far 25 years ago, but now it has come much closer to us. For instance, transport of 40 feet sea container from our factory in Elva to Shanghai port costs exactly half of the price of 1 lorry from our factory to Sheffield in England. So, and shipping to Japan takes 7-8 weeks. To Shanghai port it goes with 4 weeks. So it's not so bad at all. We have a regular Skype meetings, video meetings with our dealer. The time difference is not so big. The plane trip takes to Shanghai about the same time as to New York, so China is not so far in today's world. Especially good thing for us is they don't have much regulations for wooden buildings. In Europe it gets harder and harder and harder to get a building permission for a log home. Dozens of regulations which say hundreds of reasons why this log home shouldn't be built in Europe. In China there is none. They just check, okay, it's less than 100 floors, so it's good to go. What we learned, marketing in China for small businesses, that has to be done in a very smart way because it's expensive. It's very expensive for a small business. As the market is big, to come out with your offer in internet marketing or fairs or whatever, that takes a lot of effort and money. And very interesting for us was we thought that we are selling mostly our knowledge, our 22 years of knowledge how to design and build log homes, but after shipping the first ones we understood that we are actually in a raw material business because they can do quite everything on the site. They can copy quite everything, but they have no big section timbers available on site. So to bring it from Russia or Europe or America, and then shave down 30% of that timber, and then cut off about 10% of that timber and leave all this waste in China is just not reasonable. So it's more or less a raw material business. They buy because they don't have the material on site. Otherwise, they would do it by themselves. What's very much different with Europe is trust has to be built. In Europe, when I meet the Swedish guy, for instance, we have a beer together, we like each other, the trust is built. And you have to do really bad things to ruin this trust. In China, it's vice versa. They don't trust, never. And this trust has to be built, well, step by step. Definitely, you have to find a good local partner, associate, whatever, but you must know a good Chinese guy who can help you, because learning all these specifics in China, I think, for small businesses, it's just not real. Fraud is a big issue. We almost fell for it, I think, 2 times, where we were offered a big contract and so on. Later on, we found out that it's not real. And have plenty of luck. That's most important component, I would say. That's it.
It's truly fascinating to listen to these stories. Thank you very much. And in the context of learning about different geographical areas in China, this is very interesting. And I do have a question for you. What was your first entry point in China? Were you in Shanghai? Did you first go to Shanghai or?
Guangzhou and Shanghai.
Aha, very good. The next presentation will be given by Anna Sandström from Calluna. Please.
Okay, thank you for being here. I will talk about our lessons learned and about my company, Calluna's experiences of doing business in China. My name is Anna Sandström, and I am one of the founders of Calluna and the consultant manager in our company. Calluna, who are we? It's a Latin name for a Swedish flower called Jung, for you Swedish. Something to learn. And we are an environmental consultancy specialized in ecosystem in city and urban planning. We are market leader. We are celebrating 21 years this year. Last year was a great celebration year for us. We are one of the oldest company in this matter in Sweden, and I don't think it's so common other places in the world either with that old companies. We are 35 employees. We are basically working at national level, but we are interested in going abroad. We did a strategical decision 4 years ago because we are quite niched business, and we want to have a larger market than Sweden. And we have the thoughts that we want to go to the close markets in Europe and also to other countries with strong development in city and urban planning, and Chinese is a great example of that. And that's why we want to go to China. We have methods and techniques that can be exported. China is an interesting country because they are building the society right now. They do a huge investments in urban and city planning, and they have gigantic environmental problems because of the big intensive development. And for us from Östergötland in Sweden, it's also a great a good reason is that we have a great support from the county administration board. They have 30 years of relations with Jiangsu. And we have also Clean Tech Östergötland with Gert here that works a lot to that market. What can we offer to the Chinese market? We think we have we can use two strategies in the urban and city planning, that we can integrating existing ecosystems in the planning. Now maybe you create parks and such things, but you can get more benefit in them if you design them at the right way. We can also plan for new ecosystems and ecosystem services. This is a little bit about what we can do. We have, you can see it in 4 steps, where we can start to analysis the present situation of environmental impact, and see how is ecosystems in this area. And then we can see if there is a shortage of ecosystem services. Maybe not everyone knows what that is, but the ecosystems is very important to get better water quality, prevent flooding, and local climate, and so on. And it's very important for us human beings. So we are. We can say that we are integrating the man and biosphere in our work. And when you know what the lacks are, we can help to development. What kind of ecosystems can be the most benefit to make a better climate, or better water quality, and better biodiversity in the city. And I will give you an example from Sweden that we have been up to. And it's a Royal Seaport in Stockholm. They say they want to be a world-class sustainable city district, and it's the biggest ongoing planning in Stockholm and in Sweden, I should say. Is 30,000 inhabitants and 10,000 workplaces that should be created in this area in Stockholm. And they have very high ecological ambitions, and it's very close to the Royal Djurgården National City Park. It's a national park in the city that is quite unique, I think, in the world. But there is some problems, because I take this back. They have a very national, they have oak forests around this area that are of national interest. They have a lot of threatened species in these oak forests. And these oak forests, they need 200 years old oaks to survive. And if they don't survive here, maybe they will be extinct in Europe. So it's very important to take care of these oak ecosystems. And the problem is this city part. It's a kind of barrier for this oak insects. And when we have helped the municipality to analyze, and we can give them solutions to develop the city district and get a better connection. You see, the right is the connections between the two parts of the oak forests is not very good. You see this white place, but here you can have a continuous habitats, and you can also build these blocks of houses. So that's a very concrete example. Maybe you understand a little bit better what we do. But what have we done and learned in China? The first trip we did was a delegation trip in 2008. And we were invited because it was a clean tech delegation trip. And we find out that the problems right then were very basic. It's clean water and clean air, and a lot of our technique with the ecosystems was not in the right phase for them. It was overkill, and no one understood what we were doing. So we decided to continue at another time. This is some pictures from that trip. But 2011 we were contacted by this bench project with Cleantech Östergötland and the County Administrative Board. And we were offered a marketing plan from the university in Linköping. And we decided, okay, we take another look at this Chinese market. And the decision was made because we thought that door openers, the governor with Elisabeth, and Cleantech Östergötland and Gert, and all the work that has been done before, that maybe we can have some benefit of that. So in this marketing plan, we went to a new trip to an environmental exhibition in Nanjing. And we took contact with the Swedish Trade Council, for example. And we did a marketing plan and decided that the Jiangsu province should be our province to work in. And we wanted to work with our urban planning and designing of ecosystems in planning of water and green spaces. And we needed to get more information of legislation and planning processes. And we wanted to understand the market, who sells and who buy. And we had a lot of meetings during this first trip, 2011. And we got to another trip with a bench trip in March last year. And we wanted to find out, can we find customers? And we worked a lot. We had meetings almost every second hours with different persons in different levels. It was municipalities, and it was at provincial level, at the departments. And the results from these two trips was that we got home with 9 prospects, and we thought some was quite close to be a business opportunity if we could keep on working on them. And I think we have built up very good relations and contacts in both Jiangsu and in Sweden that can be very useful. In the same time, because we wanted to we see a possibility way is a possible way is to go with another Swedish company. So we have get new prospective customers and partners also in Sweden, and we have found also Chinese partners. And we think we have understand how we could do the deal now. And some of our experiences from this is that we believe that we can sell our services in China today. It's a little bit in the front line still, but there is interest in our business. And we think also that exhibitions is important, but don't rely on the exhibitions, the visitors at the exhibition. Make sure to have scheduled business meetings, then it can be very useful. And the support of County Administrative Board, Cleantech Östergötland, Swedish Trade Council, and the locals are very important for the success. So without them, it would have never been an interest from us to do this work. And it's also important to have business focus when you have contacts, so they understand what we want to do. And it's the good relations and trust is very important to build and stay in contact. And for us, it's very important also to have relations high up in the hierarchy, because that we sell is decided a very high level, provincial and national level in China. And you need to have a good interpreters, and the translation of is very important. And we have found one very good interpreter in Nanjing that understand what we are doing. And we need to have different approaches on different decision-making levels, so that we talk like one way with provincial level and another way with municipality level, and another way with other and state-owned enterprises. And it's very important to use the counseling that is offered both in Sweden and in China, because there is so much experience already done. But the crucial question everyone wants to know, have we done any business yet? No, we haven't. So we decided after March, the travel in March, that we had to stop, because it was a downturning in the world economy, including China, and we needed to secure our company as it is right now. But we have the knowledge and the experience to move further, so it's more a matter of timing for us. We also think that we can help the county administration board and Cleantech to promote Swedish Cleantech further more in China, and in the contacts with the delegations that are visiting. And we are still looking for business opportunities in China. We have found out 3 possible ways to make business. The easy way for us is to find a Swedish or European company that is in China already and be a subcontractor, so we can help each other to make a better business together. And we have also an alternative way, is that to apply for public fundings to a Cleantech project that contains our services. And the third way, and that we think is a little bit harder, is to find a Chinese partner for knowledge and methodology transfer. Yeah. So we'll see in 5 years where we are then. Thank you.
Thank you, Anna. I had to say that here we have an example of a very brave entrepreneur, very tenacious, and I have a feeling that in 5 years you'll be telling us how many successful agreements you have concluded and how wonderful the business is in China. Good luck to you.
Oh, thank you.
We have a little constraints as far as the time is concerned, unfortunately. So we have 2 presentations left here. Dan Liu from Volvo Car Corporation. You come and please give you a presentation, and after that I will have to show the video that we have produced in Finland, and Pekka Vahtila will be here at the panel answering questions about the Finnish experiences in China. But because of the time limitations, we will not have time for lengthy introductions of that video at this time. But you will have a chance to talk about your experiences as well. Dan Liu.
Yeah. Hello, everybody, and good afternoon. And I'm very happy to stand here to talk about my presentation. So I actually have a very close connect to this bench protect, because when I studied my master degree in Linköping University, I finished my master thesis based on this bench protect. I tried to analyze how Swedish clean tech small companies can enter China, how Swedish can understand Chinese people's relationship from the network perspective. But today, I joined Volvo Cars for less than 1 year. I would like to give you some reflection of myself as a native Chinese for a Swedish business. I think it also gave you some hints for your future business. So first, let's look at this picture. I would like to give you 3 stories today. It's stories about the cars, and then stories about the society and the change, of course, is happening in China. And then the last one is I talk a little bit about network. So first, let's look at about the story of the cars. If you look at this picture, it's a map of China. So in 1977, in the whole country of China, there's only 1 million cars, 1 million. And then when it's going to 2008, it's come to 51 million cars in the whole China. How about today? 4 years later, it's more than doubled to 120 million cars in the whole country. So today, China has become the most important car market in the whole world, together with EU and the United States. So every car manufacturer wants to go there to sell cars, making profit, making money. It's true. This is the leaders. If you look at only about luxury cars brand, their performance in China, this is their past result. So from this year, you can see that people start to increasing. That is also the most fantastic economic booming time. So in China, the leader is the 3 German giants. There's no doubt. Audi, BMW, and Mercedes-Benz. So over the last years, 2012, their financial result shows that these 3 German giants, each of the company got 30% increase in their sales. Especially for Audi, they are the market leaders. And then in last year, 2012, they are first time to make a record-breaking sales to 400,000 cars in only China, in only this market. And then you can see always some market followers like Volvo, like Lexus. They're trying hard to catch up, but it's tough game, really, really tough. And then Volvo was acquired by Chinese company Geely Group in 2010. So from that day, Volvo started to put in China as their the second largest market to develop, together with Sweden, EU, and the United States. And 2 years later, today, we're still making a tough game there. It's very, very hard to gain the market share. And when I joined the company, I met a lot of managers, a lot of colleagues, and people start to talking about our business in China. So what's their concerns? It's this. What's wrong with us? Why cannot to reach, okay, the so good branding messages to convey to our customer, like Mercedes, like Audi, like BMW, even Japanese Lexus. So if you look at this, it's like the other car manufacturer, they are here, they're happy, then competing each other, and then the luxury car brand, they're here, and Volvo is here. Okay, it's so tricky position. It's like everybody is happy in each river of the bank, and okay, they didn't say Volvo is in the river, but Volvo trying to jam from this part to move to this part. So people start to talk about this branding things. What's wrong with our Volvo brand? Is that clear? Customer perceive us? So I would like to ask you this question, ladies and gentlemen. What does Volvo brand really mean? I don't know how many of them know Volvo or drive a Volvo or have a Volvo before, but think about this question. What really tells you? What's the car feeling when you're driving it? And then when you think about this question, please remember that Volvo is a so typical Scandinavian brand, origin from Sweden. And then what Volvo has is actually a lot of Scandinavian brand or product or design or something. They must have something in common. And then I also by myself think about this question for a long time. What's the real brand mean? Okay, today I got crystal clear the answer. What's Volvo mean? It shows in the 5 points. The first point is about safety. There's no doubt that Volvo produced the most safety cars in the world. The company every year put billions of Swedish crowns into R&D, into testing. They want to make sure that Volvo cars can protect yourself and your families. And then the other side is the family value. So look at this V70. If you drive it together with your wife, together with the kids, to a county, to have a travel, it's not only the joy is from the driving itself, but it's from the moment you share with your families. And then the third point is about Scandinavian cool design. If you look at this, it's a very beautiful car. It's a Volvo's new V40. And then this Scandinavian design shows everywhere in our Nordic countries. For example, in the IKEA furniture, in the Itala tableware, and also Georg Jensen watches. You must know this. And then the next part is about innovation. This is Volvo's new V40. It's the first time in the world Volvo involved in this pedestrian airbag to protect people in the heat of the car to the windshield and then reduce their hurt. So our Scandinavian product, many of them, their innovation everywhere, especially for myself, is for the details. It's very perfect. And then what's the last point? The last point is this. It's actually Volvo brand shows a premium, or we can say luxury, in a sophisticated way. It also shows anything else, I think. What is sophisticated way? Please think about this. Sophisticated way means it's there, but it's very hard to convey, very hard to tell people what is that. And then also for the car industry, if you look at its cars, and then what Volvo want to tell people is not only cars, not driving, it's not four-wheel machine, it's kind of living style. So when people driving these cars, actually they driving Volvo, what they share in common is this: close to nature, enjoy the leisure, to enjoy the simple life, and elegant taste, the more and more and more. So actually the 5 point here is very crystal clear of a Volvo brand meaning to the other customers. This is a very good remark I copied from an internal manager from Volvo, is that we need to stop fixing what isn't broken. The Volvo brand is part of the solution, but not of the problem. We have nothing wrong with the brand. So when you look at this, today is the amount of Volvo cars is designed around you. And then if you want to understand better, it says that this sentence is, Volvo creates Scandinavian luxury cars that understand people. It's very interesting that if you read these sentences from this part to this part, from right to the left, it also makes sense. People understand that cars, luxury Scandinavian creates Volvo. So no matter how you read a sentence, the core is always be the people. The product from Scandinavian, the most essence is they care about the people. So next one is 4 pictures. It's Volvo when Volvo make its branding. But you can see there's no car there. I think most of you, when you see this, it's just like you see your homes. So it is a message what we want to convey to all the customer. It's cool outside and warm inside. Is it typical Swedish or typical Scandinavian? Yeah. So this is a car story. And then next, I would like to show you some story of society and change. First, let's look at this picture. I'm born in 1983, and then this year is 2013. So I now like you to look at this picture is the 1983 Shanghai and then 2013 Shanghai. So it's the same river. This is Huangpu River. This is Shanghai, the same places. It combined together. So you can see that how dramatic change it is happening here in Shanghai. And for the first time as a native Chinese, I look at this picture, I feel, whoa, it's really, really different. The year I'm born, Shanghai is like this. And this year I'm 30 years old, okay, Shanghai is already like this. If you look at the other bank of Shanghai, you see similar things. So that is, I want to convey a message is that in China, there's only one thing escaping. It's not change. What's that? It's China is changing. China's country is dynamic and changing every day, every minute. So you have to remember this. But even individuals change from individual persons or the change for the society or something, how they can affect the whole country. I will give you 2 cases to support it. The first case is about this gentleman. This is called Mr. Mo Yan. He is a novelist writer, and then this year, last year, 2012, he's so lucky to get the Nobel Literature Prize. So the whole country will celebrate this. Okay, we really have a real Nobel Prize winner. But how can this Nobel Prize change a person? Then he changed the society. If something happens, you can see that after Mo Yan got the Nobel Prize, there's interesting things happens. In China, a white wine company with the same brand of Mo Yan, exactly same character, is sold for 1.2 million euros after tax. 1.2 million euros. And then a smart boss, a man, created overnight a brand called Mo Yan Restaurant Chain. And then it's forbidding at about 0.18 million euros. And then in the hometown of Mo Yan, that his parents and the very old living in a village, and the local government want to change the very old poor house and the garden into Mo Yan Museum. And they want to change the whole town of Gaomi into a tourist city and rebuild everything based on Mo Yan's novel. They want to attract more travelers here. So that's the change. Just the individual change, how this like butterfly effect to change many things. Another case about a lot of people talk hotly about, okay, pollution. It's a picture from January this year in Beijing. This is Tiananmen Square, but I cannot see it. Okay, I can only see a person to wear a very thick mask and then ride a bicycle to go to work. So this is about smog, but please pay attention to this. Smog is not fog, it's pollution. It's very, very small particles that floating in the air, and then if the particles are smaller than 2.5 micromillimeters, it can into our bodies by the breath, and then to reduce respiratory diseases. So these things has changed a lot of things. You can see that from the situation of this year's January, 31 days, only 5 days are clear. So people live in this every day in January. So what happens in this month? 0.3 million. They call it special N95 type mask. They are sold. People want to protect themselves, just like this guy. And also the household air filters is out of stake. So in the recent 3 months, no product. People rush to buy it. And then in the hospital, the respiratory patients increased about 25%, and the government, they have to stop 30% of the bus and then to keep the street clean. So even school children stay at home, don't go out. It's pollution there. So, and all these particles, this smog, come from the car pipe, as well as the chimney in the big factory. Exactly. So the next part is about the stories of network. So when people think about network, of course, it's people. This is people network. This picture shows what's the difference. People build network for Europeans and Chinese. Okay, Chinese is more complicated. They're connected to each other anywhere. Okay. This is called guanxi in Chinese character. We call it guanxi, but actually it means interpersonal relationship or network of people. So this guanxi network is deep-rooted in everywhere in China. If you have a good network, it can facilitate everything from your personal life to your business to your personal careers. Everything is rely on it. And when people speak about the network, it's of course about the virtual network, it's the internet. A lot of my friends ask me, okay, Dan, we know that your Chinese government put a lot of censorship to stop the worldwide international internet providers to here. Is that true? I think my answer is true. So in China, we didn't have Google. And then no matter YouTube, YouTube is part of Google. And then people never use Facebook. And then they didn't know what is Twitter, Skype, very few people know it or use it. But we have exactly the same function internet website people use. For example, this Baidu.com, 70% of the traffic of search going to here to search in Chinese information. They have Youku.com, people share videos the same as YouTube. They have Ren.com, is copy-paste version of Facebook, and also Weibo.com is the Chinese Twitter, and QQ, people use it every day for online communication. So actually, even as a censorship, China didn't lose any of its internet powers. So when you combine this people network into this internet network, it's come to this. This guy is called Jack Ma. He is the business hero today in China. He is the CEO and founder of Alibaba.com and Taobao.com. This two websites is the most successful online platform for e-business. I just talked about Taobao.com. Taobao in Chinese means searching treasures. So actually, this Taobao.com is like a huge online shopping mall. Anything you can buy from the shopping mall there, you can buy there. From iPad to the computer, from your clothes to a Nike shoes, from car component to any furnitures, you can find it there. And then the price is negotiable. And then last week is my dad's birthday. I want to give him a present, but how can I do? He's living in China, but I live in Sweden. So I go to Taobao.com to put 20 minutes to choose a very good shoes he liked for a long time and pay by my Visa. 3 days later, this shoes goes to my door and then to deliver to my dad. And the delivery cost is just 1.5 euros. So this is the future of China. It's a smaller business. For this Taobao.com, 99% of them are smaller companies, self-employees and 1 or 2 people and then 10 people. So they go there to sell their things because there's fantastic platform there. So if you look at data from 2003, the Taobao.com, the transaction amount is just 0.1 billion. But how about 9 years later, in 2012, it's increased to 1,000 billion RMB. Ladies and gentlemen, please think about this. A company like this, the transaction amount increased 10,000 times in just 9 years. And then this amount today is surpassing the total transaction amount from Amazon and eBay. So this is the future. Smaller things survive. It's not conclusion from myself. It's conclusion from Darwin, right? So this is our bench project. For me, I want to join and I think, okay, it's fantastic. It's join people to build a very great forum to connect this. And then any people interested for people's want to put their business in China, they go there to share their information, to make studies, and then to making friends, and have their first contact person. So actually, to go to China is not that difficult. And then you just need to build it step by step. So the last part is that I just want to be quick, is to give you a very short summary of this. Actually, if you think about Volvo cars, I think, okay, it's a small company, but you say, okay, it's stupid. Volvo is so large, a lot of people. But if you compare it to Audi, to BMW, to Volkswagen, to Mercedes-Benz, Volvo is just a very young man in the market. So actually, the smaller company, they have something in common with today we're talking about clean tech SMEs. What's that? It's relatively smaller in size, and they have limited resources, and then not strong brand. People, very few people know our brand, and then low market share, and then we even have unclear market niche. We spend a lot of money on operating, but we got low profit. And then when it comes to network, it needs a long time to develop, to build people's belief. And how can we react to this? Here, I just gave 4 points. And then the first is that the story I tell you in the first is that you need to find your uniqueness and then strengthen it and focusing on that. And then the second part is that if China, even a 1 more yen can have that butterfly effect, there's many things can happen in the future. Please remember, China is changing every day, every minute. So if you're not finding the opportunity today, be patient, but focusing on an eye close to China to wait this opportunity to come. The third point is that build a network is, of course, is everywhere in the world. When we do business, we have to do like this. And then the last is Gemba, and to just do it. Gemba is Japanese word, means go there to see by yourself. I think the business to China is not, maybe it's a tough journey, just like this, but please enjoy your trip. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'm sorry I had to stand here and look very intimidating, but I'm like Volvo, cool outside, warm inside. Next, we will have our video, and in the video, we will see Finnish entrepreneurs and company leaders telling about their experiences in China.
So how well are you selling now in China?
Well, we are selling well.
Oh, well.
It's going well. And at this moment when the Western world is having huge difficulties, in the economy. The company is a design house, luxury design house of mostly accessories. I started with scarves and ties, but now we also have handbags, umbrellas, in some countries even shoes, hats for sun hats, for instance, for summertime in China. So it is expanding. The spectrum of articles is expanding. There are over 64 actually Marjakurki shops now or shops in China, partly franchise and partly owned by the company. But it has taken 20 years. But at the moment, and now let's say that during the 5 past years, that's when it has really expanded. So I can say that I have seen the enormous change which has taken place in China. I don't think anybody could have believed it then. If somebody had said that this is what's going to happen in about 30 years. Actually, I went to look for ready-made scarves and ties, but realized soon that the designs were too Chinese, so I had to start designing myself. And that's what happened in 1980. That if somebody wants to go and start business in China, so in a way you do it exactly in the same way in whichever country you go to. And the one thing which is always important is that you don't know the market. I think that's a clear thing. So you have to have somebody who knows. I had known Caroline Xue, who still is the managing director of Marjakurki company in China. So I had known her since '88, and actually it was her idea. So she said to me, Maria, why don't you establish the company in China? So those were the opening words. And after that, that's what happened. So it was, you could say that it was nearly impossible for anybody to leave the company. And we had to pay a ransom money. And it also took her tears. In those days, it was impossible to find people because they did not have any knowledge. Today, yes, they do have knowledge, but they come and go. Difficult in a one way then, difficult in another way now. Well, now everybody is there, everybody is doing marketing, public relations, whatever. Then there were not many, and we were one of the first to go there as a trademark. For a woman, let's say that it's natural to take everybody as a person and not to look down on anybody.
What would you give as an advice to small and medium-sized companies?
The number one, well, they do have to have a good product. It's no use going otherwise. Everybody else is trying to enter China with good products. So that's number one. Number two, I would say that in business you need perseverance. In business with China, you need extreme perseverance. You need to have nerves, you need to have guts. You have to count on that it takes money and time, and still you need luck to succeed.
Yeah, first of all about Pekka, the company was founded back in 1965 by my father. He was a 25-year-old sales guy, saw a customer need and started his business based on that. And I came to the company myself back in 2005, and basically I'm a second generation family leader of this business. Pekka is in the business of making construction materials, particularly for concrete constructions. So we have all kinds of concrete connection products in our portfolio, whether they are some connection parts or some composite beam structures. In the last 10 years we have been growing internationally quite a bit, and today we are present in about 30 countries. We have people, about more than 900 employees with more than 40 nationalities, also in China now. We started some early steps on importing some materials from China back in 2008. And then we quite soon realized that if we really want to be in China, we would like to be there by ourselves and with our own operations. The market is big, the construction of course is big in China, and long term we would like to be part of that growth. On the other hand, we also understood that certain raw materials are efficiently manufactured in China, and we also wanted to manufacture them in China for the benefit for our European and North American and Gulf customers. I mean, China is not so much different compared to other countries. You have to just know the right people also in Germany or in France as well. I mean, it doesn't differ so much. On the contrary, it was quite a smooth process. I mean, if one could think about from the decision to the start of manufacturing to be about a half a year, I think that's quite fast by any standards. The consultants and the lawyers and these kind of guys are maybe not always the best ones. With those you need to also talk, but talk with other guys who have done it. We did a lot of talk with other companies during the process, and that helped us a lot. But also I would say the contacts from FinPro, for example, were helping us also a great deal. And I would also say that it's not about also the talking with the other Finnish companies. It was also important to talk with other, let's say, Western companies in the same city. And that was facilitated by in our case, with the city of economic development zone of the Zhangjiagang city, that we were more or less having meetings with other companies who had settled there, and to get advice and practical advice. That was very important for us. We always think that you need to have a massive start and you have to do this and that, but even in China it's perfectly okay to start with certain people and grow gradually the team. Most likely we have doubled the premises and doubled our people within a year. Let's see. Depends whether we can get business or not. Again, it's nice to have a counselor from the embassy to come for the opening ceremonies. I think it's important. It's nice to use the services of, for example, FinPro, but they are supplementary as such. I think if public support is somehow, if any businessman says that public support is crucial for the business, that businessman is not a good one. It's plain and simple. We want to be a Chinese company, eventually in the eyes of Chinese customers. With a Chinese company, with the Chinese speed and price levels, however, with the deep technical know-how, with very cost-efficient and architecturally nice solutions that can be offered. That's our aim. In every country where we operate, we want to be a global but local player. So I think the biggest learning for Pekka in China is the speed. The speed of moving on building up the organization, speed of manufacturing, and I think the people themselves are very willing to change and willing to do things in a fast pace. And I think that's, I hope us, Pekka being in China, that will also change Pekka as a company, that we can be faster with our moving forward with our growth targets, what we have as a company. The future is always what we make that future to be.
Gelecta has customers in Finland, in Europe, and our suppliers are mainly from China. And we are between between European designers and Asian manufacturers. And what we are producing is that is for plastics, that is for metal parts, from small parts up to the quite big parts. We founded the company in Hong Kong in 2007, and after that we have been expanding the China side on Shenzhen, where we have office nowadays.
Why did you first incorporate your business in Hong Kong?
There was some of the reason, and the main reason was that we are more familiar with the Western laws, and also we would be sure about the transferring of the bank accounts. So that that's very easy to send some money to China, but to getting out of China, that is not so easy. If we are starting some business and we have some manufacturing or we build up some factory, then there is a lot of connections with authority. And then it's very important that we take good care of them, and also we understand what are their needs. This is a completely different situation what has been in Europe. In our field of industry, we need to be sure about the technology level where we are working. So we are not looking for the cheapest, but we are looking for at least same quality what we are doing in Europe. If you think about the cost level closer to Finland, just like in Estonia and other, there is no big difference anymore, and that is one issue. And then also the other issue that what we have, it should be understood what we are really looking for from China. Is it technology, or is it cost, or is it something else? And if you think about in the coastal areas, the price issue is going to be quite critical in the future. But we had to know that China is a big country, and also there's many of the areas what are still available for lower cost. But for sure there will be other countries in Asia which are coming to be competition for China as well. Number one is how fast is the response. So if you compare to the Finnish way, we think we are quite fast in some of the communication or responses, but in China, I think that is really much better. If you think about 10 years ago and compared to today, so China is quite easy partner to be business with.
Oilon is producing oil and gas burners. It started some 50 years ago already, when oil was something very exceptional. Later on, the world has been becoming more demanding, and therefore gas started to play a bigger role, and therefore we developed also gas burners, so that at the moment actually 70–80% of our burner business is natural gas. And on top of that, we started 2002 to produce also and make and manufacture heat pumps and cooling systems, so that at the moment we have two big families. One is our combustion technology, and the other one is the heat pumps. In China, we have been working now 20 years. So 2002, we set up our production facility in Wuxi. We were at that time much smaller company than we are now, and it was not typical that from Finland this size companies go to China and they set up their production, but we had good self-confidence to go there, and we also had already that time a lot of customers who were very friendly to us. We started the operation that way that FinFund, which is state-owned funding company in Finland, they participated with us in this operation. And at that time we were thinking that it's kind of insurance for political problems or something which we cannot imagine. Our sales has been growing every year. And I'm also very proud of those relationships which we have with our customers. They are really wonderful. We meet them all the time, very many times. I have been more than 60 times in China. In China, there is quite much companies who suffer for that their people change jobs and they go to other companies. But it was just end of last year when I visited Wuxi. There was many people which I was pricing because they have been 10 years in the company already, and that was very nice. It's our way of doing business, as we call oil on the warm way, which means that we always try to treat our employees and our clients in the warm way, so that we take good care of our people and they have a lot of possibilities to influence in the development of the company. And Chinese people like brands. They like also in women's mode, they like these high valued brands, and it's same in industry. If you are well known, then your sales can get good results. But if our brand is not strong enough, it means that our partners, these boiler companies, they see that we are eating their brand. But if our brand is very strong, then they can see that, okay, our brand can complete their brand, which means that they are more powerful on the market. I have to say that China is one of the most competitive markets, and the buyers really know what they do and what they pay and what they want. But positive has been that in recent years the clients have been coming even more demanding on the NOx levels and emission levels, and of course the workability, which gives us place to develop. And we have very interesting products to offer. But what is positive in China is that if you go there and you manage to do the business well, you get so many orders normally that you can also reduce your production cost all the time. So there is possibilities also to develop the company continuously. And that means that you can grow with the market. And if you do so, and you get these kind of sales, you will be competitive all over the world. So actually Oilon has got a lot of this competition edge by working so long time in China. Chinese people have taught us to be competitive, and I'm very thankful for them for that. It feels first very challenging when they barking and they say that you have to do this, you have to do that. But it means that they are ready to cooperate with you. It's their message for you that do this and I buy. And it works also. If we do that, they buy. And when we do that, we can also sell to other countries.
The point of our software is basically to enable game developers to build games faster and with a lower cost. Umbra's software basically helps game content developers to create bigger or automate parts of the content creation process that they would normally have to put a lot of manual work into. Yeah, Umbra has been founded in 2007, and we started the Chinese games market immediately when we started the company. So at that point we identified that the Chinese market was booming, and a lot of Chinese internet users wanted to play local games, local Chinese games in the internet, and that created a huge games industry for China. Beyond language skills, you also need to have professional people who know how the industry works and also communicate well back to the headquarters. So only Chinese communication is not good enough, because you need to be able to communicate back in English or Finnish, probably English, and also know how the Western business culture works. If you try to go to the Chinese market, try to know the market or try to know the people who work in the market. That was essential for Umbra in the beginning. We got there, we took a plane ride to Shanghai, we went to the events over there, we got to know the people who we could know, who we could communicate with, basically the people who know how to speak English. We have a grant from Tekes, the Finnish technology innovation thing. That Tekes has been super helpful for Umbra during the years. So the Tekes has funded Umbra's technology development, especially in the beginning, and that has been a good, really good booster for Umbra. We wouldn't have been able to build the company so fast if it wasn't for Tekes. I'm seeing the Chinese market as being a growth market, but not necessarily as such a huge growth market that people always tell it to be. It's a good market, it's a growing market, but it's not an explosive market for us. Compared to like Western culture has a lot of focus in like contract terms and that kind of stuff, and the Chinese don't have that much focus on that side. Chinese developers want to just like to get things moving forward and want to get going with that way. Money transfers are a little bit challenging in China because there's government regulations on all kinds of stuff, so there could be a couple of hiccups in trying to get payments through to Finland and so forth. That's a little bit of an issue. We've bumped into that a few times, but beyond that, it's cool. I think the connections we've made in China, that would be the most thing that I'm most proud of. I've found a lot of good friends over there. I've found a lot of interesting contacts in China that can help me in other markets also beyond China. They're extremely open to new ideas that are coming from especially the West. And also from my side, I'm like super interested in how the Chinese like country is growing, how they're like opening up to the like Western influences and that kind of stuff. So it's an interesting communication. The culture is so different from what we're used to in so many ways, and it's an interesting dialogue back and forth.
All right. We started our section today by going through China and seeing how different it is depending on what region of the China we are talking about. And now we also reviewed some stories by SMEs and bigger companies. And what we are learning from these stories and the presentations is that China is very different, but the SMEs are also very different. Some say they benefit from the public support a lot, and others say they haven't needed it. So there are all kinds of companies and all kinds of CEOs and different markets out there in China. We have time for 2 questions, and we'll take it from the audience. Anybody? Hands up. Anything from the panel? I think that means that we are all ready for some coffee. All right, we'll do that. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Actually, I would like also do it Chinese way to give the presents. We will do it very quickly, and then we can go to have a coffee, and let's just resume on time. It's 3 o'clock. Yes, the coffee table is open.